Let me ask you something deeply personal. When was the last time you woke up and your body actually felt good? Like genuinely, completely, no complaints, good. When was the last time you swung your legs off the side of the bed and just stood up? No groaning, no grabbing the nightstand, no shuffling to the bathroom like you suddenly aged 30 years overnight. If you're watching this right now, I'm going to guess that morning feels like a distant memory. And I want you to know something. That is not normal. That is not just getting older. And it is absolutely not something you have to live with for the rest of your life. I'm Dr. Richard Ben, and today we are going to have one of the most important conversations I think this channel has ever had. Because I've had hundreds of patients sit across from me in my office, people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond. And almost every single one of them says the same thing. Doc, I sleep 8 hours and I wake up feeling like I got hit by a truck. And for years they've been told, oh, it's just age, it's just stress, take an ibuprofen. But I refuse to accept that answer. And after what I'm going to share with you today, I think you're going to refuse to accept it too. So stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through exactly what is happening inside your body while you sleep that causes that morning stiffness and soreness, why it gets worse over time if you ignore it, and most importantly, what you can actually do about it. These are not complicated solutions. You don't need a prescription. You don't need expensive equipment. You just need the right information, and that's exactly what we're here for. Let's start at the very beginning, because I want to paint a picture for you. Imagine your joints. Not a scary medical diagram, just think about your knees, your hips, your lower back, your shoulders. Every single one of those joints is surrounded by something called synovial fluid. Think of it like the oil in your car engine. That fluid is what keeps your joints gliding smoothly, cushioning the bones, protecting the cartilage, and allowing you to move without pain. Now, here's what most people don't know. When you're lying still for 6, 7, 8 hours at night, that synovial fluid doesn't circulate. It kind of settles and thickens slightly, almost like cold honey versus warm honey. So when you first wake up and try to move, your joints are essentially running on low lubrication. That's one major reason you feel stiff. But that's just the beginning of the story. While you're sleeping, your body also goes into what I like to call repair mode. Your immune system gets to work. Inflammation that has accumulated throughout the day, from your workout, from sitting at your desk for 8 hours, from stress, from micro injuries you didn't even notice, all of that triggers an inflammatory response overnight. And inflammation, by its very nature, causes swelling, tightness, and discomfort in the surrounding tissues. So by the time your alarm goes off in the morning, you're essentially waking up in the middle of your body's repair process. You're interrupting the construction crew mid-job, and the worksite is a little messy. Now here's where it gets really interesting, and this is the part that most doctors skip right over. There's a condition that millions of people have and don't even realize it. It's called morning stiffness associated with low-grade systemic inflammation, and it's not just about your joints. It's a whole body signal. Your body is trying to tell you something. It's saying the inflammation in your system is consistently high. And if that signal keeps getting ignored, over time it can lead to much more serious issues. Chronic joint degeneration, increased risk of autoimmune conditions, cardiovascular stress, and metabolic dysfunction. I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying this because that morning groaning that you've been laughing off, it matters. It is your body communicating with you, and it deserves a real response. So let's talk about what's actually driving that chronic inflammation, because this is where we can make real change. And I want to be honest with you here, because I think you deserve honesty more than you deserve comfort. The biggest contributors to morning stiffness that I see in my patients every single day are things that are completely within your control. The first one is dehydration. And I know you've heard this before, but I want you to really hear it this time in the context of your joints. Your cartilage is made up of somewhere around 60 to 80% water. When you are chronically dehydrated, and most people walk around in a mild state of dehydration without knowing it, your cartilage thins, your synovial fluid decreases in volume and quality, and your muscles become tighter and less pliable. You go through 7 or 8 hours of sleep without a single sip of water. Your body is doing repair work, sweating slightly, breathing moisture out, and by the time morning comes, you are at your most dehydrated point of the entire day. So the very first thing you feel when you try to move is the direct result of tissues that are starved for water. The fix here sounds almost embarrassingly simple, but I promise you it works. Start drinking water before you go to bed. Not a huge amount, but 8 to 12 ounces. Keep a glass on your nightstand. And the moment you wake up, before coffee, before your phone, before anything, drink water. Give your body the raw material it needs to get those joints moving again. The second major driver of morning stiffness is something I see absolutely everywhere in modern life, and it's excessive sitting and physical inactivity throughout the day. Now here's the counterintuitive thing. You might think that resting your body by sitting or lying down would reduce pain and stiffness, but the science actually shows the complete opposite. Your muscles, tendons, ligaments, and fascia are living tissues. They need movement to stay healthy. When you're sedentary all day, those tissues start to shorten and tighten. The fascia, which is the connective tissue that wraps around every muscle and organ in your body, begins to form what we call adhesions, little areas of stickiness where tissue that should slide freely starts to stick together. By the time you've been lying still all night on top of a full day of inactivity, those tissues are locked down tight. And when morning comes and you try to move, you're essentially trying to pull apart tissue that has been gluing itself together for hours. That is real, that is documented, and that is why people who move more throughout the day consistently report dramatically less morning stiffness. The third contributor, and this is one that's really close to my heart because I see how much it affects people without them realizing it, is sleep position and mattress quality. I have had patients spend thousands of dollars on supplements and treatments for chronic back pain and joint stiffness, and the answer was simply that they were sleeping in a position that was putting hours of unrelenting mechanical stress on their spine, hips, and shoulders every single night. If you're a stomach sleeper, I need to have a gentle but direct conversation with you. Sleeping on your stomach forces your neck into a rotation for hours at a time, compresses the lumbar spine, and can contribute to nerve irritation that radiates pain through your hips and legs. If you wake up with a stiff neck and lower back soreness almost every single morning, your sleep position might be the primary culprit. Side sleeping with a pillow between your knees to keep the hips aligned is one of the most powerful, cost-free interventions I can offer you for morning stiffness. Back sleeping with a pillow under your knees is another excellent option. These aren't just preferences. These are clinical recommendations that directly affect how your spine and joints feel when you wake up. And your mattress matters more than you think. A mattress that is too soft allows your spine to sag and fall out of alignment. A mattress that is too firm creates pressure points at the hips and shoulders that restrict blood flow and compress tissue for hours. You don't need to spend $5,000 on a mattress. But if you're sleeping on something that's more than 8 to 10 years old, or that you can feel sinking under your weight, it may be time for an honest assessment of whether your bed is working for you or against you. Now let's talk about the easy fix I promised you. Because here's the truth. There isn't just one thing. The easy fix is actually a morning routine that takes less than 10 minutes and can genuinely transform how your body feels from the moment you wake up. I've given this routine to my patients. I've refined it over years of practice, and the feedback I get is consistently remarkable. Let me walk you through it. The very first thing, before you even get out of bed, is what I call the joint wake-up sequence. Do not jump out of bed. Your body is not ready for that. Instead, while you're still lying down, spend about 60 seconds doing gentle ankle circles, both directions. Then flex and extend your knees. Then gently hug one knee to your chest and hold it for 20 to 30 seconds to open up the hip and lower back. Then the other side. Then do a gentle supine spinal twist, lying on your back, letting both knees fall to one side while you look the other way. Hold that for 30 seconds on each side. You are essentially warming up your joints while you're still in the safest, most supported position possible, lying down. You are kick-starting that synovial fluid circulation before you even ask your body to bear weight. This alone, this one thing done consistently every morning, has been life-changing for people in my practice. Once you're out of bed, step 2 is that glass of water I mentioned. 12 to 16 ounces, room temperature or slightly warm. Warm water is actually preferable in the morning because it's absorbed more quickly and won't shock the system the way ice-cold water can first thing in the morning. If you want to add a squeeze of lemon, that's a bonus. It stimulates digestive function and provides a small dose of vitamin C, which supports collagen synthesis, the very substance your cartilage is made from. Step 3. and this is the one that most people skip because mornings are rushed, is a 5-minute mobility flow. Not a workout, not a run. Just 5 minutes of gentle, intentional movement that takes your major joints through their full range of motion. I'm talking about hip circles, shoulder rolls, a gentle forward fold, a few cat-cow movements for the spine, and some gentle side bends. This is not about burning calories or building muscle. This is about telling your nervous system, we're awake, we're safe, we're moving, you can let go of the tension now. And your nervous system responds. The muscles that have been guarding and bracing all night begin to release. The fascia begins to glide again. The synovial fluid begins to distribute evenly through your joints. You go from the stiff, shuffling morning version of yourself to someone who actually feels like they're inhabiting their body within minutes. Now, I want to spend a moment talking about nutrition, because what you eat has a profound and often underestimated impact on how stiff and sore you feel in the morning. Chronic inflammation in the body doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It is largely fueled by diet. Refined sugars, processed vegetable oils, ultra-processed foods, alcohol, these are all pro-inflammatory. They signal the immune system to stay in a heightened, reactive state, and that keeps the inflammatory markers in your blood elevated, which means more pain, more stiffness, slower recovery, and worse mornings. On the flip side, foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids, your fatty fish, your walnuts, your flax seeds, are powerfully anti-inflammatory. Leafy greens packed with antioxidants, colorful vegetables, turmeric with black pepper, ginger, these are not just health food trends. They are compounds with documented anti-inflammatory mechanisms that directly affect joint and muscle comfort. I'm not saying you have to eat perfectly. I'm saying that if your diet is consistently high in inflammatory foods and your mornings are consistently painful, these things are connected, and changing what you eat is completely within your power. I also want to briefly address magnesium, because I think it's one of the most underappreciated nutrients when it comes to muscle stiffness and sleep quality. Magnesium is involved in over 300 enzymatic reactions in the body. It plays a critical role in muscle relaxation, nerve function, and sleep regulation. A large percentage of adults are deficient in magnesium and don't know it. And when you're deficient in magnesium, your muscles are more prone to cramping and staying in a contracted, tense state overnight, which means you wake up sore even when you haven't done any exercise. Magnesium glycinate taken in the evening is something I recommend to a lot of my patients. It's gentle on the stomach, it supports deep sleep, and it helps the muscles genuinely relax overnight. Now, always check with your own healthcare provider before starting any supplement, but this is one worth having a conversation about. Here's something else I want to touch on that not enough people in the health space talk about honestly. Chronic stress is a physical experience, not just an emotional one. When you are under sustained psychological stress, work pressure, relationship difficulties, financial anxiety, whatever your particular brand of stress is, your body produces elevated cortisol. Your muscles stay in a state of chronic low-level tension. Your sleep architecture is disrupted, and your inflammatory markers rise. People who are chronically stressed wake up stiff and sore, even when their diet is decent, even when they exercise regularly, even when they've done everything else right. Because the nervous system is still stuck in a threat response, and the body reflects that. Addressing stress is not a soft, optional add-on to a health routine. It is foundational. Breathwork, meditation, even just consistent time outdoors in nature, these are not luxuries, they are medicine. And they will directly affect how your body feels when you wake up tomorrow morning. Let me also address something that I know a lot of you are thinking about: exercise. Because there's a misconception I hear constantly, and it goes something like this: I woke up sore, so I shouldn't exercise today. And in some cases, yes, rest is appropriate. But in many cases, the opposite is true. Gentle, consistent movement is one of the most powerful treatments for morning stiffness that exists. Exercise increases circulation, stimulates synovial fluid production, reduces systemic inflammation over time, strengthens the muscles that support your joints, and improves the quality of your sleep, which then reduces stiffness the following morning. It's a positive cycle. The key word is gentle and consistent. You don't need to crush yourself in the gym every day. You need to move your body with intention every day. A 30-minute walk, a yoga session, a swim, a light strength training routine, These are the interventions that compound over time and produce profound changes in how your body feels morning after morning. So let me bring this all together for you because I want you to leave this video with absolute clarity on what to do. Starting tonight, drink 8 to 12 ounces of water before bed. Tomorrow morning, do the joint wake-up sequence before you get out of bed. Drink your water when you rise. Spend 5 minutes on gentle mobility. Look at what you've been eating and ask honestly whether your diet is working against your body's ability to recover. Think about your sleep position and whether it's actually supporting your spine. Move your body every single day, even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. And take your stress seriously as a physical health issue, not just a mental one. These are not revolutionary ideas in isolation, but the combination of them, applied consistently, is genuinely transformative. I have watched people go from barely being able to get out of bed in the morning to waking up and feeling ready for their day, not because they got younger, not because they found some magic pill, but because they understood what their body was asking for, and they responded with the right tools. I'm Dr. Richard Ben, and this is exactly the kind of conversation I got into this work to have. If this video helped you, please share it with someone who needs it, because there are a lot of people shuffling around every morning thinking this is just what life feels like now, and they deserve to know that it doesn't have to be. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss a video, and drop a comment below telling me, what's your mornings like right now? Are you waking up stiff? Are you going to try this routine? I read every single comment and I want to hear from you. Take care of your body. It's the only one you have. I'll see you in the next one.